Hello, this is Dr. Flight, and this is a short presentation on the marketing dashboard. So, as we begin to think about displaying information from research, we want to be able to display information that may be really complex, but do it in a way that's really easy to understand. So, the marketing dashboard is um, a product or an outcome that will happen from research that's designed for the end user to be able to make quick decisions, be able to digest complex information quickly, and something that's assembled on the back end by the researcher themselves. So it's a comprehensive system providing managers with up-to-date information necessary to make decisions. It typically includes data on operations of the organization, specifically marketing operations. So we want to look at like sales, aspects of the marketing plan that we're working towards, elements of our functional areas like distribution, sales force productivity, and then it may also include elements that are associated with brand as well. Different types of output and data that the manager sees will actually be a result of the data sets and the databases that are designed and populated as a result of ongoing operations, typically. So as business is being performed, data is captured as a result of that business. And then that data is assembled and then displayed for the manager to use. So this might be an outcome specifically of a marketing information system or a set of systems that include gathering information, putting them into a big database, managing that data, organizing it, and then having it display in a way that's useful for the manager. Some popular different softwares to help create dashboards. One is a product called Tableau. So you can go access information on the software if you want to learn more about it. This type of software is something that you could look at tutorials. You could get a feel for how it works and so forth. Another one that you could look at is something called Power BI. So please note that Power BI is a Microsoft product. So it integrates fairly well with Excel and extends a lot of what Excel does, especially the pivot table concepts. So if you're familiar with Excel, migrating to Power BI is something that's fairly natural. Also, if you have access to a Microsoft 365 account, then you're very likely to already have Power BI, so you can jump right into it. There's also, like Tableau, a lot of resources online. So, you can certainly watch tutorials. This is just a link to a tutorial on Power BI, which walks you through an example of using it and so forth. The key thing with Tableau and Power BI and dashboard software like this is that you have to have the database set up before you can really functionally do anything. So whether the database is set up, maybe it's set up in Excel, but you have to be real careful about how the database is set up and be pretty proficient with data management that way. If you can master that, then displaying your data through one of these softwares should be pretty, like I say, pretty natural kind of next step to do. Some dashboard examples that you might see along the line could include a few examples that I have here. This would be like a sales dashboard as it suggests. You can see how there are key performance indicators, KPIs, that are reported. Typically, what we'll also do is have some type of a target or a goal identified, and then what will be displayed is maybe current progress being made towards that goal. You can also have longitudinal data, so you can see data over periods of time. It's not simply just a snapshot of today. The idea is that the Excel spreadsheet or the database that you have is always gaining information. And so the information displayed on the dashboard is longitudinal. It happens over time. So you can see progress towards your goals as time progresses. Another example, here's a marketing funnel dashboard. So when we talk about a funnel, we talk about different stages of a decision-making process usually. It could be a sales funnel where you start with prospects and then those prospects get narrowed down until eventually you make sales. But this is just a visual illustration of, kind of like a dashboard. And remember, dashboards are visual. So you put a lot of thought and take time to think about the best way to visually display data, and that will lead you to the graphics that are appropriate for this type of data. Okay, so different types of funnels can be examined. Here's the social media dashboard. Again, you could have different like measures. In this case, we have referrals, conversions, and they have something called events, and then they track this through different social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Google, Pinterest, YouTube. So basically what they're doing is they're conducting social media campaigns, and then those campaigns are generating data based on how many people are seeing them, and how many people enter their sales funnel, probably something like that. And in fact, you can see this referral traffic by site, and it gives an indication of which social media platforms are bringing them more referrals and where they're most effective. So this is a good example of, again, how data is being accumulated as a result of what you're doing. It's going into a data set, and then that data set's being reported graphically. Another social media dashboard example. So here are some things to think about, or to measure, or metrics to look at. Something called amplification. In other words, how much awareness you're generating. Engagement, that'd be how much people are involved with your posts. Click-through rate's important in the sense that people will go from a social media site maybe to your main website to make a purchase, so you want to know how many people are coming to you. And then you may have some paid media, so like you might be paying for placements, and so you might want to look at that as well. Web analytics, that's pretty common. Again, how effective your digital dashboard, your digital world is in web analytics. We also have one more example here that relates to content marketing, and again, kind of what you're putting out there on social media. So that might be something to consider as well. Finally, search engine marketing dashboard. I've got a bunch of just definitions of things here. So if you run if you run a website, you want to know what the metrics are like on that website. There's a whole bunch of terms that can be used, and they're all illustrated here on this dashboard. Feel free to obviously pause and look at this in more detail if you want, but I mean, you can get kind of the impression that metrics are really important in terms of being able to manage and track your progress. So one of the challenges is there's literally hundreds and hundreds of different kinds of metrics, and picking and choosing which ones to follow can be a big challenge for any manager. So again, here's a list. There's probably a dozen or so different types of terms that one could use to label metrics that are useful in managing a website. But in sum, there are 5 things to think about when you're designing a dashboard and its integration with a marketing manager. So one is the alignment of marketing with the firm. So like these are the benefits and kind of like what you want to get out of your dashboard and the effectiveness. So your dashboard should be able to bring your marketing and marketing goals and objectives in line with those of the firm. It helps align the focus of marketing team's operational objectives and the firm's financial objectives. So one of the things that is really, really important when you do research, especially in marketing, is that we have to be able to link the marketing efforts that we make with a financial outcome that happens as a result of those efforts. So just because you have lots of shares or lots of views or you have a lot of buzz or sentiment, that really doesn't mean anything to anybody else in the organization unless you put a dollar figure behind it or a profit margin behind it or a sales figure behind it or something like that. So this alignment actually becomes important when we start thinking about our objectives and the objectives of the firm. This also helps develop, as it says, internal relationships across the firm because others outside of marketing can look at these dashboards and kind of see what's happening, and they can sort of make this link that what's happening in marketing can help performance of the organization. And it further highlights sort of this interconnected notion of the functions. So, like, if we do a better job in production, maybe we are able to produce, better positive feedback, like from marketing, and vice versa. There are elements in marketing that could help different areas too. But developing internal relationships is something that's there. Linking marketing efforts with spending and profits. Okay, so this is exactly similar to that first point where you have to link our activities with the financial outcomes of the firm. But this is actually an ROI point, so that's why it's a separate bullet point. Like there's a return on investment, and anytime an organization spends money in the marketing area, a lot of times the firm thinks of those as costs. And so as a result, they want to know, well, what is this cost getting me? And so there's a return that we would like to be able to link as a result of the efforts put forth and the resources that are deployed as a result of some type of budget item that we have available to us. All right, couple more. Clearly, the dashboard needs to be developed, and it should facilitate decision making. So when when a marketing manager or a manager in another area looks at the dashboard, they should be able to like decide, I'm going to increase this, decrease this, I'm going to shift resources, I'm going to change up or manage my actual role as a result of what I'm seeing. So again, we kind of looked a minute or two at that social media platform dashboard, and it showed, if you remember, there was a donut shaped graphic that showed the percentage or the proportion of sales that were coming from each of the different platforms. So just think about, well, it looked like maybe Facebook was low or maybe Google was low or something like that. I don't know. And it might be, well, we're not being as effective on that platform. Maybe we needed to change our strategy on that platform to get it to where it's doing better for us. So that graphic told us something to do, and it's going to help us make decisions. Finally, again, highlighting the role that marketing plays within the organization is really stressed by this notion that others can see these dashboards, and then we can also use these dashboards to kind of show the impact of the function, especially to other chief officers, whether it's a chief financial officer or chief executive officer or other functional managers. Again, it enhances the viability of the marketing role in the organization. Okay, so this has been a quick little review of dashboards only. This is a skill set that actually, if you're able to think about a dashboard, develop a dashboard, and use it, employ it to make decisions, then that will actually serve you quite well as you move forward. So with that, thank you for listening. Let me know if you have any questions.